we're gonna build a wooden barbecue. Yeah, that's right, we're building a barbecue out of wood. So, whilst Alex and Ben are out the front doing the paving, me and Phil, hi Phil, he's not rising to it. Me and Phil are starting work on the barbecue. So, I've already started setting this out, so this is going to be the basic plan of it. It will come up to around 1 metre high, so there's going to be 5 levels of these. On this side will be the coal tray and the grill there, and then on this side will be a nice little worktop. So, these are the extra bits that I've cut. They're going to form the shelves at the bottom and also the shelf here, which will carry the worktop. So now the next process is to get them all sanded down. We're aiming for this sort of finish with these sleepers, so I've got quite a long job ahead of me of getting all this lot prepared. So I'm going to do it all in pieces, which is going to be a lot easier. Set myself a bit of timber in here. Because this is a bout sander, the bout rotates around like that, so it's going to want to push this bit of wood back. So just by doing this then, I can rest my wood against it. I haven't got to try and hold it whilst I'm sanding it down, so I can literally just go at it, get my ear defenders on and my goggles and get to work. So, after lots of sanding, this is what the end result will look like eventually. This tile here will not look like this. It's just a piece that we've got knocking around, which I've used just for a visual reference for you. There will be some other bits of timber which will sit under here, basically like this, but underneath the tile, which the tile will then sit on top of. That will finish nicely around the edge. Also, the grill will go in this area, the coal tray there, the grill up here slightly. And then we put the nice little shelves on the bottom as well, just to keep any coal or anything like that off the floor. I've done this little detail in here as well, just using my router just to run that round. Just adds a bit more dimension to it really, rather than just lots of bits of wood stacked on top of each other like that, which might appear quite blocky. This will give it a little bit more character. I'm just waiting now to make sure the clients are happy with this, and then I will carry on and get it all stuck together, and that'll be it, another job off the list. So we have started to deconstruct the barbecue, because now what we're doing is putting this little detail on here like I've mentioned before, and then we're basically going to leave it in kit form at the minute because we've got to tile the floor. So this is going to weigh, I think, about 450 kilos once it's actually built. So obviously we're not going to be wanting to move that till we get the tiles done. So we'll just leave it all in kit form, like I say, take it all apart, stack it up somewhere nice and neat, so then it can be tiled and then we can build it in situ then, rather than trying to shift this heavy thing around. So this is the next stage completed. All the joints have been routed in, just giving it a lovely effect. So like I mentioned before, it's going to just be left like this in kit form now, so we can easily move it around, ready for tiling. So guys, the barbecue is about to commence. This is the position where it's going to go. So what I'm going to do is use this. So this is a 16mm rebar, and what we're going to do, because of the size and the weight of it, I want to make sure it's all knitted together neatly, and I don't want to see any fixings anywhere. It's just want it to look natural and without any holes or anything like that in it. So what we're going to do is hide the hole. So I've got the base here, and in amongst this, it is all numbered up. I haven't just chuck loads of bits of wood together. In amongst all this is the next level. So I'm going to place the next level on top of it, and then what I'll do is, using my very long auger bit that I've got, I will drill straight through this next section into here, halfway down here, so the rebar will sit in like that. I'll do 2 of those here, 2 here, 2 here, and then I'll do 1 in each of these. What we'll do then is anchor resin them in. So these bars will sit through here, and they'll act like a dowel, effectively holding everything together, stopping any twists or anything like that. And then when I put the next one on, I'll do the same. So through the next level up into this level, if that makes sense. I'll show you obviously as I go, but I'm just effectively going to dowel the whole thing together. I'll do some fixings through the back, from here into here, but obviously you won't see these, so that's really important just to make sure you don't see anything. You could do like a secret dowel like we've done here, which would have been the traditional way of doing it, but just for this application, I want to make sure that I can't see anything at all, just so it looks nice and smart and smooth and seamless. What I've done here, I've just piloted through the back of this timber into this one, and then put in some large screws into the back there just to hold it all together, and then I'm going to repeat that process here, from this piece into there, and then I'll go this piece on the edge here and into that, and then the end piece again, just mirroring that really, and then we can get our dowels drilled in, ready for the next level. So now I've got my base all screwed together. What I need to do now is get my shelves in. So what I've done is flip this up onto its back, and then this piece here is then going to sit flush with this. So if you can imagine, this is the bottom that will actually sit on the floor, and this will be the top of the first lift, if you like. So this piece of timber, this edge will sit flush with this edge. So what I need to do to obviously hide any fixings or anything like that, like I mentioned earlier, that's what I want to do, is make sure the fixings are hidden. I'm going to use some of these clips. I'm going to sit these in here like this, and then this will hold the shelf in place. What this does mean though, just to make sure everything fits nicely, is I'm going to have to route out a section of each shelf just to make sure that it doesn't push it off the edges. These have been all cut to size, so the last thing I want to do is push anything over with any screws or anything like that. These are pretty low profile, but what I've got to take into consideration is the heads of the screws. So I will need to go into here, probably, I don't know, 6-7 mil, just to allow for any heads of the screws to sink straight into there and not push us off this at all. So I'll get this marked up, like I mentioned, keeping this flush here. I'll mark this up to make sure these are in the right place, and then I can get this routed out, get those screwed onto there, and then this will just drop straight on to this. So, as you've just seen, what we've done is fix these all together. We've screwed through the back here, straight into these. We've had to leave a little bit of slack because it is oak and they are actually sleepers that are meant for sort of this application. There's going to be a bit of a twist in them. They're not joinery grade timber, so we've got to have a little bit of tolerance somewhere. So we've had to just slightly slacken off these screws in the back just to give us a bit of play here, just so we can get everything lined up exactly where we want. So what we're going to do now is drill through these like I mentioned before. So Phil's got some clamps here. We're going to get those clamped onto the edges. And what that actually enables us to do is make sure that everything is in the right place for when we drill these holes through. So when we drop our rebar in there, we know everything's going to be exactly where we want it to be. If we just start randomly just drilling through now, it could twist and run everything out. So obviously when we come to drop the dowels in, it might make it look awful and not line through correctly. So by doing this, you can see just in there that everything's nice and snug together and looking good. So I'm going to use this beast now to go through, straight through these, and then we can get our dowels dropped in and resined in. So what we need to do now is drill through to get our dowels in. So this drill bit is actually 430 mil, so I don't want to be drilling right the way through this with my drill bit. I need to know exactly where I'm coming to. So what I'm going to do is measure 300 mil down here. Yeah, I've already put a little pencil mark on there, and now I'm just going to put a bit of tape around it. just to make sure that when we drill through, we don't go too far, because the last thing I want to be doing is drilling really far through here and then going through the tiles, or when we get further up, I'll drill through into the wrong bits. So just by doing that then, I know exactly where my drill bit's going to go. Really important now to try and keep it as level as possible as well. That means then when you drill straight through, your hole's going to be obviously level, so when you drop your bits in, it will line through properly. 3, 1. I'm just going to stop that there, clear this out the way so I can see when my tape touches the wood. There we go. Pull that out. Beautiful. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is fill the hole with the resin. Try and just apply it in a circular motion so it goes around the outside of it, so you don't end up with a big pool and you end up with air getting caught in there. Plenty in, and then in with the rebar. And all being well, there we go. Drops down to the bottom. Just give it a gentle tap with another one. Make sure it's bottomed out. There you go, we're in. So once that goes off, that will all be nice and solid. What I will do as well, just squeeze a bit over the top. Make sure. There we go. Sorted. So just carry on and do the rest now. Phil's doing is just using his router just to route out a groove in here, because our socket, with this socket, there's actually a plate that sits on the back of this. Because it's quite a large socket, we want to recess it in there so we can lose as much of this profile as possible. So that's why we're doing this. So our box is in. This was the effect we were going for, to flush this off now. So all that I'll have here is the face plate. So now what I need to do is drill straight through here, and that'll bring me out a hole in the back, so I know exactly then where to put this. And then the Sparky then can get everything put through, get the cables through, and we're away. So I've got all my pieces routed out ready, just to take this joint, as I said here, that's in there, and route out the back just to take everything. So now what I need to do is get my rebar anchor resined in. Important thing to note, if you're going to use this stuff, get yourself a few extra nozzles. Reason being, once you mix this together, it goes off very quickly. So if you've only got one nozzle per tube, unless you're using a whole tube straight away, you've got lots of holes to fill, it's definitely a good benefit to get a load of extra nozzles so you can actually use the whole of the tube. Once the resin's gone off in that nozzle, that is it. You're never going to use it again. So just a little word of notice for you. So everything is now anchor resined in, screwed together, and absolutely solid. Going nowhere. I've tried to move it, it's not moving. That's it, it's staying there now. So the next step is to get our worktop on, which is over here. Lovely bit of stone. So that needs to sit on here. that will sit at this height here, and then it will be recessed into this sleeper here and this sleeper here, just to get it level perfectly. What I'm going to do is I'll sit it on and then get some wedges underneath, wedge it all up, and then offer then my additional, well, my next level of sleepers up to it, and then that will show me exactly where I need to route it out, and then that will keep it perfectly level, and then we'll bed it in nicely and get the tray in, which is here. That will sit on this side, so it will be permanently fixed on some pins about this height, I think it is, and then the actual grill bit itself will be able to be moved up and down depending on the heat of the coals at the time. So there we go, the worktop is now in, looking smart. This has all been resined in, as you've seen. I've screwed it, secret screws everywhere as well, so that's never going to move now. That's absolutely solid in there. So all I need to do is just have a quick clean up, get rid of some of these wood chippings, and then we're going on with the grill. So I've got to get the coal tray and then the grill set in as well. I'll get my laser level set up for those, so they're exactly true through there, because the last thing I want is a wonky barbecue. So you've just seen me now marking up all the points in which these pins will go in. So these will slot into there nicely, and then our tray and grill will sit on top of them. So I've selected a bit which is pretty much the same as this. It's ever so slightly thicker. This is 9mm, the bit's 10mm. So what that'll enable me to do is actually just slide this in easily. It's not going to come out because I'll go in at a significant amount, at least half of this pin in there. So it's not going to wobble around or fall out. And then if the client ever does decide to move it, he can easily just pull them in and out and change them to suit. But these have gone to the manufacturer's recommended heights. So we've got a 900 standard grill height, which would be the same as worked up internally. The coal tray then goes 150mm below that. There's another grill then which goes 50mm above the main one, and then that's basically for when the coals are a bit hotter, you can put it to the top. So yeah, I've done it as per the manufacturer's guidelines. So what I'll do now is just get these holes drilled in and then sit that in, and the barbecue is done. So guys, the barbecue is completed. It took blood, sweat and tears, but we've got there, and hopefully you'll agree it looks amazing. So our grills are all in place. Like I mentioned, you can raise this up for when the fire's a bit too hot, or if you want to just keep stuff warm. Worktop's in, there's a socket underneath there as well, and that is it.
If you've enjoyed today's video, like, comment and subscribe. I'm Phil, you've been watching Build with A&E.